I agree with you. The woman should not contribute equally. She shouldn't. The woman can help as much as she can afford to and she's willing to, right? But no, she shouldn't contribute equally.
Okay.
And there is no man, and any man that is listening, don't go and insist on your wife to bring her money. It's the money she's earned, how she wants to use it to support the family, it's her choice. Yes, I am not saying that the woman should not do that. That's also an unwise thing to do. If you bring yours and you add a bit, you're helping the family to live better. Hello, good evening.
Hi. For our listeners, this is a different kind of podcast because we are doing like a mutual interview. Myself and my guest Womo, so we'll be asking each other questions. So yes, that's it. And it's an interesting podcast because it's a topic that has to do with man and woman talk. So hello everyone, welcome to Resonate with Tammy. Lovely to have you today on board. One more.
Very much, Tammy. How are you doing?
I'm great. And you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Okay.
excited.
Same here. So, should I go first? Is it ladies first?
Oh, please, let's go. Ladies first. And besides, I'm your guest.
Okay. So, my first question is it your money or our money? Dun, dun, dun.
That's a $1 million question. But I think the simple answer is it depends, right? But for the sake of our listeners, it's best to say it is our money in a relationship. Sorry, in a marriage,
Okay.
but it is your money in a relationship.
Why the
Because
difference? Why is it in a marriage
yeah,
is
so
a collective
in
thing?
marriage there is already a commitment.
Okay.
There are vows that are exchanged, right?
Okay.
As far as the Bible is concerned, as far as God is concerned, both of you have become one.
Okay.
So there is no yours or mine anymore, right? But in a relationship, it's still your money, with right? And anybody can walk away at any time. So even if you have to walk away from a marriage, it's not that straightforward. So yes, from that perspective, it is ours in a marriage, but yours in a relationship. But again, I'd like to put this out there. In the spirit or in the sense of saying it's ours, no matter what, the guy is still the breadwinner, right?
Okay.
That is biblical. That is what is expected.
Okay.
Both partners are meant to work, right? It would be silly of anybody to think I'll just sit and fold my hands and do nothing.
That is in marriage and
So both are
relationship,
meant.
right? Yes, we're referring to that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, we all have uh, a journey that we are pursuing. Right?
Okay.
Just because you get married does not mean you abandon your journey
Okay.
and just hop on someone else's ride. You're supposed to be heading in your respective directions. God has a purpose for each and every one of us. So it is no more because you hear people say, "Oh, I sacrifice this because of my children, or I sacrifice this because of my spouse." It is not a sacrifice, right? It is a pause. If you call it a sacrifice, it is when you give away something for the good of someone else, right? Like we say many times, if you look even biblically, when you hear there was burnt offering or sacrifice that was given to God, it's not something that was done because of a partner. It's something that you're doing to the glory of God. So let's make that very clear.
Okay.
But in a marriage or relationship, when you do these things, it's you're pausing, you're taking a pause. In our own environment, for example, we don't have paternity leave. But if you go to some Western countries, they have 9 months paternity leave. So that means the husband can actually take paternity leave to pause his career and look after the children.
Okay.
So, but because our environment doesn't have that, that's why sometimes we make it look as if, oh, the woman stopped her career. No, 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 you're not supposed to stop anything.
Okay.
You can take a pause. Naturally, as you're pregnant, there gets to a point where you can't actually work, right? So you should always endeavor to earn something, man or woman alike. But like I say, in a marriage, it is our money, right? In a relationship, it is your money,
Well,
right? That's my take.
Should I add to that conversation? Should I ask that
No,
question?
please.
Off the record. Well, in relationship, I don't know if some women will agree with me. Does it really matter? I mean, if you love someone, you share the person's happiness, wealth, and everything, not just for marriage and for a relationship. If you're in a relationship, if you love the person, automatically you spend for the person. You don't have to think. That's me saying, And for marriage too, if you feel that you need to, chip in or help as a woman, you help. But whereby the man forces the woman to spend in marriage is, I don't know. I don't I
No,
agree like that.
nobody should force anybody to do anything. See, and this matters a lot when the foundation is right. When the foundation is right, you see that issue of is it yours or mine doesn't really come up. It's when the foundation is frosty. That's when somebody feels like they need to define or draw the line.
Okay.
If it's right, it's right. Nobody's bothered about it. The husband works and provides for the needs of the family. The wife works and she believes, you know what, I have extra money, I can do XYZ with it, or maybe I can buy this thing for my husband, but when the foundation is not genuine, is not pure, is not from the right, should I say, material, that's where you start seeing people looking to draw lines. Because why would you end up with a man that will start telling you, yeah, bring your salary to me?
It happens.
It doesn't make any sense. Girls that have ignored everything they've been seeing and they suspected about this man, thinking they will change him when he gets married. No,
Sure.
I know it happens, but you can't change anybody, so don't even try. It's only God that has the power to do so. It's God that created us. You didn't manufacture me in some plant that you think you can go and change the quantity of stubbornness and stupidity and then adjust it to no. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
But in the spirit of money, as we're talking about it from that point of view, at least I just want to get from you, in your own words, right?
Okay.
What role does money play in your own happiness?
That's a very deep question. Money is important. It helps in various ways. It shouldn't be the major factor, but it's important. For me, I feel if
Very
in a
important.
relationship, character comes first. The person is generous, and you can flow with that.
No. I'm glad, at least coming from you, because I'm sure if I was the one to say that, people might chop up my head. But it's interesting because the fundamental problem, like you mentioned earlier, sorry, that's not the problem, but the fundamental issue is that a lot of people tie money to their happiness.
Yes.
And which is a problem. Yes, because if you have it today, you're happy. If you don't have it tomorrow, then you're sad. It shouldn't be that way. Money is meant to be spent. So even if you have $1 billion today, at some point you will spend and you will not have up to $1 billion. That shouldn't be the determinant factor.
Exactly.
Right? What I've also come to see is having money is one thing. What you spend money on is another thing. Because there are sometimes you spend money on some certain things and you're feeling very, very angry with yourself, right? Or maybe in a relationship now, your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend comes home with something and they've spent, it might not be too much money, it might be maybe 100 naira they spent on something, and you start getting angry. What have you just wasted money on, So you see that it's sometimes not just the money itself, but also what you spend on. And that's why it's important in a relationship. And I will put it out there and I will challenge men more than any. It is important for the man to be prudent in a relationship. It is very important. Yeah. If the man is prudent, most of the times things are okay, right? I am not an expert in women, but what would a woman typically spend money on? A shoe, a bag, things like that. A phone, basic things.
Okay.
But a man would spend on some things that you would not see sometimes. If he spends it on alcohol, it's not just the money he's spending frivolously, but he's also bringing a problem into the relationship. He's becoming a drunk. If he spends it on women, he's equally bringing a problem. You never know what type of thing he will go and buy free of charge and bring into the house one day, one disease or the other thing, right? So if a man is prudent, it really, really helps. In fact, there was something I read not too long ago where a lady had serious medical issues and she was admitted in the hospital. Obviously, the husband and herself could not afford the bills.
Okay.
So she put out a plea for people to help and put the husband's account number. Money was paid into, or people donated money into his account. And the funny thing is, the guy went and bought a new phone.
What?
Changed the
That's
TV in the
not
house.
okay.
Meanwhile, his wife is still in the hospital. So at the end of the day, they couldn't still meet up with the bills. She had to come out and make another plea and basically put it out there that this is what the husband did.
That was so
And this time
wrong.
around, she was asking, yes. So when you have men or husbands or boyfriends, whichever, that are not prudent, that is when it can become a problem, you know. But I think happiness is something that, you know, we should wake up being happy every day.
Yes.
It should not be based on anything. It should not be based on what the weather looks
You're
like.
responsible for your own
We should wake up
happiness.
and choose to be happy.
Yes.
You see, one thing about choice, choosing is powerful. Allow me to go a bit biblical. God said, I bring before you life and death.
Yeah.
I urge you to choose life, right? The interesting thing about making the choice to life is that immediately you decide, I choose life, the Holy Spirit steps in to help you.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
Right? And the same thing, immediately you choose to be happy, everything around you works towards that.
Exactly. So my turn to ask a question.
Yeah.
Can a woman's financial independence be a turn off or a turn on?
Well, there is no straightforward answer. For some people, it's a turn off, and for some people, it's a turn on. If I use myself, a woman who is financially strong, independent, buoyant, whatever word you want to use, absolutely. I want someone who has a mind of their own. I want someone who wants to achieve things for
Okay.
themselves. You see, again, I'll come back. They said, the Bible says two will become one,
Mm-hmm.
right? That means it has to be two individuals, not one individual and one half current. Because that way you're not one, so to speak, right? It is exciting. We celebrate women today, the Okonjo-Iwealas of this world. When we see them, we celebrate them, we're excited about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is only a wise man that will be turned off by a woman that is financially buoyant.
But some men are intimidated by it now. They say, I don't want my wife to work. I don't want my wife to earn more than me.
That's why I say
Why?
it's only an unwise man. I don't want to use the word foolish because then I see I'm insulting people. But it's only an unwise man. If your wife is doing very well, you should be grateful to God for that. If your spouse is doing better than you, be grateful to God for it. There is nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong. The most important thing as a man is your ability to provide for your family. For as long as you're providing for your family, then what are you talking about? Right? So it's besides the point. And if any man is worried about it, then we can name too many globally recognized CEOs that are women. We mentioned Okonjo-Iweala, for example, this former chancellor of Germany that was there for more than how many decades, and Angela Merkel, who knew of her husband. But hey, it didn't make a difference. He continued his life. And guess what? He gave her all the support she needed to become who she was. If we look at Queen Elizabeth, right? I think it's Prince Philip. He was there. It didn't make him a less of a man. He made him a stronger man. Look at Kamala Harris today that is coming up. You know, the first, what they call him, is it the first, second gentleman or something like that. So it's only an unwise man that will see that as a turn-off.
Okay.
For me, it's an absolute beautiful thing, right? And if you want to look at it from let's say you are a low life, you're not thinking big. If you want to look at it from the point of view of girls are coming to eat my money, then such a person is not looking for your money. She's not following you because of your money. She's following you because she actually likes you, right? But again, that's besides the point. If she's doing well, great, thumbs up to her.
Yeah, because no one knows
So
tomorrow, right?
it shouldn't be a turn off in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, there are people that are going to be turned off, and it's not because of the woman. It's because they are just,
Unwise.
you can't help them. They are unwise. Their self esteem is zero. It doesn't matter the woman, because let's put it this way. Let's say you marry your wife, and today she didn't have much, right? And a few years later, she gets a fantastic job that is paying her millions of naira or dollars. Are you going to divorce her because of that? Or are you going to tell her, oh, you can't take that job because, come on.
You have to sit
It's
at home
just,
and take care of the children. Resign.
exactly. It's just stupidity. So any man that thinks that way, we should probably go back to the village.
Right? My turn.
But yeah, and I have a question for you as well.
Shoot.
Because now this also comes back to, the woman having financial substance as well.
Okay.
And what do you think now? Do you believe a woman should contribute? I will ask this two ways, right? One, do you think a woman should contribute equally to the household? Secondly, do you think she should contribute at all to the household? In both instances, if you say yes, why? And if you say no, why?
Okay, so repeat the question again. Which one is the first one? So answer.
First one, do you think a woman should contribute equally to the household?
Well, what if my husband earns more than me? Let's say he earns like more than me. Let me just put it that way. And I'm a teacher. Then he works in Mobi. Should we contribute the same salary? Depends. I feel, well, let me use the Bible. Let me not be naughty. The Bible says the man is the head of the house, right? Why should I contribute equally when I know that he earns more than me? I don't think it's right. I think he should do better. I think he should contribute more than me. But if we both earn the same salary, then you shouldn't force it on me. Automatically, I would help. I'll do something around the house. You shouldn't like bring a list and say, okay, Tammy, do this, Tammy, do that. If you don't do this, that means you don't love me or something. That's not right. But before I enter into the marriage or relationship with him, definitely I'll find out the kind of person he is, his personality. Like I mentioned, if he's generous, if he's stingy, or if he's not that person, I will not even enter the relationship in the first place. We have an open conversation about our finance, how we're going to, work things out. So there won't be any form of confusion. I will both be on the same page. So that's what I think. I don't think it's fair for the man to force his wife if he earns more than her.
Every woman that is listening out there, you do not have to contribute equally. Actually, I don't think you should contribute equally. It's not even about how much you earn. How
Wow,
much you
coming
don't
from a
earn,
man,
right?
that's bravo. I mean, I'm amazed.
In Genesis, God created Adam, and He made the garden available for Adam to walk the garden and stuff. And He said, you know what? I need to create a helpmate, someone that will help him, right? So there's a role Eve played in helping Adam. She did not take equal share of the workload. Neither did she take any part of the responsibility. You see, God gave all the responsibility of keeping the garden and the rules and regulations of the garden. He put all of that on Adam. He did not put that on Eve. It was Adam's responsibility to ensure it was kept in a certain way, not Eve. Even when Eve ate the apple, God was more angry with Adam than with Eve, because it's his responsibility. The woman should not contribute equally. I refuse to agree to that. I refuse to condone to that. The man should do whatever he can to provide the basic needs. If he's fortunate enough that he has a wife that earns and is willing to, by all means, right? I also believe at the end of the day, if I earn 10 million naira and my wife earns 10 million naira, right? What we have to spend at home is 10 million naira, which is my 10 million naira. Now, after doing all the things we need to do, if maybe there's only 1 million naira left, and say we want to plan a vacation, then maybe we can have a discussion of, oh, can we use part of your money to do X, Y, Z?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Or we may not even have that discussion. We may just look for a place that 1 million naira would suffice for us to go on a vacation and still have that, right? I've actually had a situation where I went to a house with a friend, and the friends. So we got into the house. The DSTV wasn't working. What else was not there? Yes, it wasn't working. I think there was no diesel. Some few things were not working. And the friend I went with asked her friend, like, "What happened to your TV? Like, yes, it's not working." "Oh, the husband traveled and he forgot to drop money for DSTV before he traveled." And my friend asked her friend, "But you can afford it, like you work." She said, "No, it doesn't mean it's his responsibility.
Wow.
He's the one, it's his children. If he's not going to pay for it, then
Not
they
cool.
will not watch it." And I was looking at her and I was wondering, this is another form of mental case, right? How much is DSTV? If, like you said, at least in her words, he forgot, right? It's not as if he said, "I'm not going to." And secondly, you're making it look like, oh, because he's forgotten, then he's committed a crime. The children and yourself are the ones without TV for the time being, right?
Yes.
So it doesn't make any sense, right? So, yes, I agree with you. The woman should not contribute equally. She shouldn't. The woman can help as much as she can afford to and she's willing to, right? But no, she shouldn't contribute equally.
Okay.
And there is no man, and any man that is listening, don't go and insist on your wife to bring her money. It's the money she's earned, how she wants to use it to support the family. It's her choice. Yes, I am not saying that the woman should not do that. That's also an unwise thing to do. If you bring yours and you add a bit, you're helping the family to live better, right?
Exactly.
Especially in times like this where globally the economic is tough. One income is no longer enough.
Exactly.
So in that instance, we can both look at situations and say, okay, you know what? Based on my earnings as the missus, I can take care of DSTV, for example, right? You don't worry about DSTV. You take care of the bulk things. It can work that way. I actually know some couple that the wives are taking on larger things, and it's based on their discussion. It's based on their understanding. It's based on their that works for them. Fantastic. But no man should demand that his wife contributes equally. But I encourage partners, women, support your partner, right?
True.
It is sensible to do that, right? It is biblical to do that.
Exactly.
To support your partner. It does not make any sense to sit down and hide money from each other. It makes no sense. And to the men that are listening as well, be transparent. Discuss with your partners.
Open communication.
Discuss finances. Yes. Your wife knows what you earn. There's absolutely no sin in that. If you're afraid of telling her what you earn because you think she's going to spend anyhow, it's your fault because you went to marry someone that you shouldn't have married in the first place.
True.
Because if you marry someone that you're supposed to, that's not a problem. It is not a problem at all. Right? I earn 5 naira. Not only does my wife know I've earned 5 naira, she gets a cut. If I do any side hustle, as it enters my hand, they've paid. I wire some to her. Standard. She doesn't talk about it. She doesn't ask. She doesn't need to. Because the times I am doing the work, yes, I'm working and I'm late at 9 doing this. When I come home to a peaceful place. I come home to a nice place. I come home to a nice meal. I come home to happy children waiting to receive me. So that is a lot of contribution, right?
Yes.
That helps my sanity. So when the money is paid, she gets her cut, standard. We didn't even discuss it. It's just something that has been happening and it will continue to happen. If I earn any money in USD, she gets her cut not in Naira, in the same USD. Wow. If I earn in Naira, she gets Naira. Simple. She knows how much I earn. It's not a big deal. And I've never worried one day in all these 100 years of marriage. I've never worried about finances with her. Never been a problem, right? So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying It's the same for everybody, but I'm saying find what works for you. And more importantly, before you get into any partnership called marriage, make sure the reasons and the foundation for it is right in the first
Yes,
place.
the
When it is
foundation has to be
right,
right.
these
Have
things
that
come
discussion.
naturally. Yes, they come. It just flows. You don't struggle. You don't think about it. It makes it that is. If I'm traveling outside Lagos, for example, my ATM card is no longer with me. It's with her. Right? There are so many things that I do that, to be honest, the fact that she's even involved in my finances, it keeps me in check. Because there are some things I know I can't do anyhow. Because hey, my dad will know, right? So even though that was not the intention, but it does help to keep me in check. It helps me not to do anything. I can tell you this for a fact. Anytime I travel out of the country, I want to buy a shirt. I will call her and tell her. I want to buy slippers. I will call her and tell her. The times maybe I don't call or I can't reach her. If I buy one shirt for myself, I'll make sure I'm buying one shoe for her.
Oh,
So
that's
if she wants to
good.
chop up my head, at least she will do it nicely with the shoe. So it's finding what works for both of you and making it work. You know,
Okay.
I can go on and on about money and relationship and all of that, but especially our generation, I think we need to chill and understand the fundamentals of marriage first of all. We are watching too many movies and trying to mimic what we see on TV. Big problem for us.
Oh, I'm afraid our
Yeah.
time is up. And I just want to say thanks for sharing. It's been a pleasure. I hope we do this sometime soon.
Please, I'm happy to join anytime again. I appreciate the pleasure of having this chat with you. And yeah, thanks.
To our listeners, thanks for listening. If this episode resonates with you, just like and share and subscribe to Resonate with Tammy. And we'll come back soon for another wonderful episode. Until then, take care and God bless. Bye bye.